It's the kind of love story that makes people ask, is this real love or a dangerous obsession wrapped in a pretty package? Because right now, the internet is in disbelief. Jonathan Majors, once Hollywood's rising star turned courtroom headline, is publicly thanking Meagan Good for standing by him after being found guilty of assault. And she's not just standing by him, she's sacrificing everything for him. So the real question is, why is Meagan Good putting her career, reputation, and legacy on the line for a man so deeply tied to controversy? Let's break it down. Jonathan Majors was on top of the world. With lead roles in hit films and a Marvel future ahead of him, he was being hailed as the next Denzel. That is, until 2023, when shocking allegations surfaced. Allegations of physical assault against his then-girlfriend. When court documents revealed disturbing details, head trauma, a ruptured ear, and a pattern of abuse, the public turned. Brands dropped him. Studios backed away. Friends disappeared. Jonathan Majors went from Hollywood's golden boy to its most controversial figure. And then came Meagan Good, the actress beloved for her elegance, resilience, and decades-long grind in the industry, stepped into the chaos like a loyal soldier. She was there, in the courtroom, in the headlines, and by his side. And suddenly, the conversation shifted from, did Jonathan really do it? To, why is Meagan risking everything for him? Recently, Jonathan sat down with the Breakfast Club and finally spoke about Meagan. But instead of defending his actions or expressing regret, he praised her loyalty. According to him, she lost endorsements. She was uninvited from industry events. She took hits for simply being seen with him. Because where Meagan showed up, Jonathan was never far behind. He called her a strong woman, said she was stronger than him, claimed she was praying with him before interviews. He even described her as the reason he's been able to stay afloat. And while some fans found that sweet, many others were horrified because it didn't sound like a man protecting the woman he loves. It sounded like a man letting her carry the weight of his downfall. Think about it. Meagan Good has been working in the entertainment industry since she was a teenager. As a Black actress in Hollywood, she fought twice as hard to get half as far. She built a name, earned respect, and crafted a legacy that many dream of. And now, after all that hard work, she's watching doors close, not because of her actions, but because of the man she chose to stand beside. This isn't just love, this is sacrifice. But the question everyone is asking is it worth it? Let's rewind for a moment. When the allegations against Jonathan Majors first came out, the details were brutal. His ex-girlfriend testified that he grabbed her, choked her, slammed her head repeatedly into a marble floor. The injuries weren't hearsay, they were documented. And despite that, Meagan Good walked into that courtroom, holding his hand, her head high. To some, that looked like loyalty. To others, it looked like denial. And now, Jonathan is doing interviews, crediting Meagan for saving his life, keeping him strong, and making him feel loved. But nowhere in those interviews is he talking about what he's done to heal, to grow, or to protect her from the fallout of his past. He's not saying she deserves better. He's saying she's stronger than me. And that's the part that has so many people shaking their heads. Because when a man tells a woman, "You're stronger than me," it's often just another way of saying, "I can't or won't do what you're doing for me." And let's be real, Meagan isn't just sacrificing red carpet invites and brand deals. She's sacrificing her peace, her image, and her standing in an industry that's already ruthless. People have started to question if Meagan is playing the role of savior, if she's trying to redeem a man who doesn't want to save himself. And that leads us to the bigger issue. When did Black women become the rehab centers for broken men? We've seen it before, women pouring their energy into men, hoping to heal what they didn't break. But what makes this story different is that it's playing out in public. The courtrooms, the press, the social media discourse, all of it. And Meagan Good is in the eye of the storm. Her fans are split. Some see her as a ride-or-die queen. Others see her as a cautionary tale. And behind it all, one man remains eerily calm, Jonathan Majors, watching as the woman beside him takes the hits that used to be aimed at him. But the storm isn't over yet. While Jonathan Majors has been busy painting Meagan Good as the strong, loyal woman by his side, the public has been asking a different question. What does Meagan get out of this? Because love, real love, is supposed to be mutual. It's supposed to uplift both people. But right now, all we're seeing is Meagan carrying the weight of a man's mistakes, and Jonathan getting the benefit of her image, her support, and her grace. Let's talk about the timing. When Jonathan was first accused, he didn't reach for Meagan. He was still linked to his ex. It wasn't until the scandal exploded, after the court documents were made public, after the headlines turned brutal, that Meagan entered the scene. And that's what has people raising their eyebrows. What did Meagan bring in as a distraction? A PR move? Because suddenly, this wasn't a story about domestic violence. It became a story about Black love, about forgiveness, about redemption. And Jonathan Majors, whether intentionally or not, began to rebrand himself, using Meagan Good as the symbol of strength and healing in his corner. Now, here's what really disturbs some fans. Instead of laying low, reflecting, or publicly showing growth, Jonathan was out here, talking. And not just talking, but spotlighting Meagan in every sentence, using her as proof that he's changed, that he's loved, that he's supported. He even said that she became a pariah for him, that she was disinvited from Hollywood events, that she gave up networking opportunities because of him. Let that sink in. Meagan Good, an accomplished woman in her own right, is being publicly praised for sacrificing her career to stand beside a man facing abuse charges. That's not love, that's martyrdom. And instead of encouraging her to keep her distance, Jonathan's response was, "She's stronger than me." Strong? Maybe, but does she deserve to carry the burden of someone else's downfall? There's also the issue of image. Meagan has always been seen as graceful, grounded, and wise. She's never needed controversy to stay relevant, but now her name is trending not for a role, a project, or a film, but for being tied to a man with a violent past. Is that the legacy she wants? And let's not forget, Jonathan Majors didn't just stumble into controversy. The court found him guilty. This wasn't rumor. This wasn't gossip. This was real. So why is Meagan the one losing work, facing judgment, and cleaning up the mess? And here's where things get even more complicated. The media has started spinning this relationship as an example of Black love at its finest. But what's fine about it? What's fine about a woman sacrificing everything she built to rebuild a man who hasn't shown any real accountability? Because while Jonathan sits in interviews praising her, he hasn't once said, "I regret what happened. I'm getting help. I want to protect her from what I've been through." Instead, it's been, "She lifts me up. She's strong. She stayed." But love isn't about how much pain someone can endure for you. It's about how much you're willing to grow for them. Some are calling this relationship toxic, others tragic. A few believe it's strategic, Jonathan aligning himself with a beloved Black actress to soften his image and keep at least part of the public on his side. And here's the thing, Meagan deserves better than to be anyone's PR shield. She deserves a man who lifts her up as much as she lifts him, not one who drains her, then calls her strong for still being there. Because when a man starts using a woman's strength as a reason to avoid accountability, it's not love, it's survival, his. What's next for them? Well, they're reportedly married now. though fans are already speculating on how long that will last. Jonathan is still trying to re-enter the industry, but the doors aren't swinging open just yet. Meagan? She's staying silent, loyal, and present, at least for now. But the truth is, we've seen this story before. A woman gives everything. A man takes it, repackages it as love, and when the storm passes, he moves on, leaving behind a woman who has to rebuild what she willingly gave away. So here's the final question. Is Meagan Good the victim of her own compassion? Or is she in control of a narrative none of us truly understand? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. When history looks back on this chapter of Jonathan Major's life, Meagan's name will be there. The question is, will it be as the woman who saved him, or the one who lost herself trying to? What do you think? Is this real love, or emotional manipulation wrapped in poetic interviews and red carpet smiles? Does Jonathan Majors deserve a second chance? Or is Meagan Good taking a fall for a man who's already shown us who he really is? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more true celebrity stories. Until next time.